Listo, la cortinita. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good morning. As you know, the first Wednesday of every month, we have a gala class, which is called Masterclass. And is when we have our president, Mauricio Sulaimán, and our president of the Ring Official Committee, Duane Ford. So we are so pleased to have you here and welcome everybody who has joined. Before we begin, I must give the word to Christian Mansour, who always has a great message for us. Please, Christian, and then the word is yours, Duane and Mauricio.
Hello, good morning, good evening, everyone. It's very nice to see you all. This week, our word for WBC Cares is strength, and I would like to talk about a little bit about strength because strength is something that is born through healing and perseverance. Strength is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to keep going through adversity. And it doesn't matter the path that you have chosen. It can be long and rough, but that's what strength is about. Keep going on, even though it's not the easiest way. And on this particular morning, I would like for all of you to think, what does strength mean to everyone? To everyone. And if you want to share, that would be great. But for now, that's the week of the word, strength.
I think it's a great word, Christian, a strength in the mind, in the body, and the spirit. And I think we all need to have that word in our daily lives. Thank you for sharing. Mauricio, Duane, the masterclass is yours. Please.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We have people from all over the world. I'm so excited. And one of the WBC's top strength is the unity and the team that we have formed together, each one of us. Christian is my strength day to day. I love the word. The word of the week, the word of the month that the WBC Cares program has introduced is something that we want everyone to join. This word we have used in the past, it is just simply a subject, hoping that it comes into you and you use it. And then you pass it on forward to your family, friends, colleagues, anyone. I truly believe in strength. It is basically the reality of life. You have, I was talking to Pope Francis one day, and he made an analogy of what boxing is. Instead of mentioning any brutality or aggressiveness or nothing, he was very wise and he said, boxing is life. You have to find your strength and you have to find the weaknesses of your opponent and then use your strength, your abilities to make them the factor to win, just as the mongoose does to the cobra. The cobra is the most incredible serpent, that is the most powerful one, and the mongoose is a little rat. And in life, the mongoose beats the cobra. So we all have strengths. Let's dig deep inside, get them, use them, and promote, because we need unity more than anything today. Before going into Duane to talk about ring officials and the diversity of different topics, I'd like to just give a briefing to everyone. We are going through a turbulent time. I pray for everyone that is having difficulties with this Middle East. We have many friends in the area, and it's very troubling to see the world in such shape. A couple of weeks ago, Mexico had a very complicated matter on those attacks in the country. But the news are so fragile. Those social media and the news, they just come out and make a picture of something that sometimes is not the reality. Thank God Mexico is 100% normal. There were no fatalities to any civilian. It was just an operation that was controlled, and things are normal. I have friends that are looking for questions and answers about their vacations for spring break. Many had booked Cancun or Guadalajara or Cabo. If anyone has this problem, it's perfectly safe to travel to Mexico. There are no issues. Bryan Adams, the singer, was just in Guadalajara, Mexico City, and Monterrey yesterday. By the way, if you know Bryan Adams' music, his new album is called Roll with the Punches. And he has a gigantic boxing glove going around the arena. So we met with him, gave him an honorary WBC belt for being an ambassador. And if you have a chance, listen to that song, you'll enjoy it. We have announced the sanctioning of a major fight in the pyramids of Egypt, in Giza, which promises to be historic. We don't know if it will happen because of what is going on with the Iran and all this missiles crisis. But the WBC, I wanted to make it clear. Why are we sanctioning this fight? Because there has been some questioning. The WBC ratings criteria allows it. Why? Because there is a consideration for the record and activity of combat sports athletes. We have in the past many times ranked or sanctioned fights by Muay Thai elite fighters coming into boxing. That is a normality. Kickboxing, Rico Vandervom, 11 years heavyweight champion, proven record of ability, sellout stadiums, 30, 40,000 stadiums worldwide. And the heavyweight cannot take, it's a unique division. They cannot take a fight outside the weight category because that's the only one. It's the heaviest. So you cannot, he's going to go in the ring regardless. What would happen if Rico wins and it was not sanctioned? It would have been proven, it would have been terrible to see someone who deserved to be a champion be taken that opportunity away. And we're not doing any harm to anyone. Usyk is in a voluntary state, so the WBC voted in favor to approve this major event in the pyramids of Egypt, the dream of so many. So I feel comfortable, and we have so many things on the plate. This is going to be an important year. We can only control what we do. We cannot worry what others do. And whenever there is criticism and attacks to an individual, to an institution, it means that you are worth. It means that you have strength. Otherwise, they would not be talking about you. So the WBC stands tall. We are the voice of boxing worldwide. We are the ones who look after the fighters, regardless, from amateur, Olympic style, professional, and most importantly, when they retire. The WBC is the home for every person in the industry of boxing. I am very sad the passing away of Castillo. He was never a champion. He fought Chavez, Salvador Sanchez, Laporte, so many fighters. He was a great warrior, a beautiful human being, and he sadly passed away. But thank God he was very quick. He had a very aggressive cancer, and he was in pain. So we have been in contact with his wife. The WBC has paid for the funeral. It will take place on the 18th and 19th of this month. But we don't advertise this. We don't go out and yell the things that we do. We do it on behalf of each one of you, each promoter, each boxer. Everything the WBC does is on behalf of everyone together. So we have a great organization. We have a great year coming up. I am so thankful for Vice President Duane Ford and so many members of different committees, because it is these committees that go out and lead by example, by action, and keep our members united, trained, and entertained. So let's hear from Duane Ford. Let's proceed with the specific topics. But in this session, we really want to hear you out. If you have questions, if you have examples, if you have concerns, ideas, anything. I see we have Africa, we have China, the United States, England, Germany, Australia. We are Canada, from all over the world, everybody. So let's have a great masterclass. And I pass it on to Duane Ford. I thank Xochitl and Christian for every session that we have. Every Thursday is interesting, and the masterclass once a month. I'm very, very enthused and looking forward to it. So, Duane, please go ahead. Whoever wants to speak, raise your hand or put that thing in the computer that raises a hand, or please feel free to, at any moment, give us your input. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my president. Yes, Mauricio said that you're going to have the opportunity to ask questions. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about several things first, and some information that's really interesting as to a pattern of judges scoring. But first, I want to address the word of the month is strength. And when each of you came on, I'd see your faces. And I thought to myself that I gained strength by you. I know that as an official, there's difficult times. You feel alone. You feel, well, I'm not good enough to get the bigger fights. All kinds of things come into your process. But when Christiane mentioned the word strength, I just really affected me, that I feel strong today because of you, of each one of you, that you've taken the time that we could sit down and have a discussion. We could disagree, we can learn, and we can move forward under the banner of the WBC, which there is no organization in boxing that's any stronger than that. I've been very concerned as to what's going on in the world of boxing. And I was really concerned because I didn't want the WBC to be tarnished in any way or feel like we're failing and so forth. I was really proud of Mauricio that he stepped up and defended the WBC, took some torpedoes, threw them back to people on podcasts, but he stood with pride of the WBC. And I personally felt that maybe he was getting close to creating a war with everyone outside of the WBC. But Mauricio and I had a very important meeting just last 2 weeks. And Mauricio came into that meeting and sat down with these leaders in boxing and said, we need to work with unity. We're all part of boxing. We need to work hand in hand and keep this sport alive and strong. And I was sitting on the other side of the table and I thought, wow, it's been a treacherous month and he's had to defend, but he's settled into the point that, look, we're all different, but we're all on this screen today because of boxing. And that's what makes the WBC strong. I do have some concerns about some of the scoring that's going on. There was a fight in Arizona this last weekend. One of the fights ended up in a split draw, all because of the 12th round. One judge went one way, the other judge went even, and the other judge went the other way. But Gilbert, would you be ready to bring this short PowerPoint up? I want to show you some things, and then we'll talk about it. So Gilbert, when you're ready, you can bring that up. Now, this is a discussion that is kind of an advanced discussion. Go to the next one, Gilbert. We as judges, hang on right 1 second. What I did, I took, I think, 12 different fights, and I looked at the decisions that were made by the judges. Of those 12 fights, 6 of them were split. Next one, Gilbert. 4 of them was a majority decision, Gilbert. 1 was a draw, and 1 was unanimous. This was just reaching in and grabbing 12 fights and seeing what the judges did. I can't even tell you the names of the fights. So this really intrigued me that, wow, in 12 fights, we have 6 splits. So I went further. I thought, I wonder how the rounds are. Gilbert, go ahead. So I thought, okay, let's look at this between how the judges agree on rounds 1 through 4. And they came out agreeing 50% of the time. So 1 through 4, the odds are you're going to disagree 50%. Now, there's some reasons for that we'll circle back and talk about. So then, go ahead, Gilbert. I wanted to look at rounds 5 through 8. Next. 70%. So I guess by the 5th round, the judges have prepared themselves mentally and are ready, and they agree 70% of the time. So then I looked at some more rounds, Gilbert. Next slide. I looked at rounds 10 through 12. Hang on, Gilbert, don't move it. What do you... It ended up 50% of the time. Don't hit that last button, Gilbert, until I tell you. 50% of the time. So rounds 10 through 12, the judges are going to only agree 50%. That's not very good. So I even looked at it further. Hit next, Gilbert. Don't hit anything. Rounds 12, 11, and 12. What do you think the odds would be there? They're all great judges. What do you think in your mind what they'd be? Gilbert? 46%. So I thought, wow, let's look at the 12th round. Next slide. Go ahead. 42% of the time. In the 12th round, we're 58% wrong. The judges cannot agree. Next slide. Does being in the minority scare us? Next, Gilbert. How do we feel when we're in the minority? I'm asking you that's on this call, how do you feel when you're in the minority? I have observed as soon as the bell rings and the scores are announced, I see judges rushing to the scorer's table. Why? Is it frightening? What is the concern of being in the minority? I'm asking a question, anybody. How does a judge feel when he's in the minority? You must know because all of you have been in the minority.
Yeah, you feel that you'll be perceived as a bad judge.
So you're afraid that you're going to be perceived as a bad judge. That's a good point. How does it make you feel how the commission's going to look at you?
Sure, then you're concerned that maybe you'll get less assignments if you're in the minority frequently.
You hit the number right there. You're worried about your next assignment. Next. Are you worried about what social media is going to say? You know, for years, we have encouraged you to stay away from social media. I see judges that they're on social media before they leave the arena just to see what they scored. I'm looking at some messages coming through. Anybody else like to address that?
Well, the message from Philippines, judges rush to the score table to see the scores of them and the others. They don't even know, they don't feel comfortable. That's a very good point.
Thank you, Mauricio. And that's where I'm trying to bring you. This is a real issue. And you can look at some of the most recent fights that the 10th, 11th, and 12th rounds were bad. They were at the 42 percentile, and some questionable decisions came out. Some fighters got a bad deal from judges who were concerned about them having a bad score, concerned that their commission is down on them, they won't get another assignment, and concerned that I've got to check in with social media. These are the issues that we have at hand, and I'm not sure how to deal with them. Next one. Would you read that, Mauricio? I feel confident in my decision. Oh, it left me.
You mean in the message?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel confident in my decision because of my training, but I'm of course interested in my peers' score too. There's always more to learn.
I like that. I like that. You know, it's good to be confident, but it's not good to be overconfident. And I'll tell you an incident that occurred with me. Years ago, there was a fight that was questionable. I was not involved in the fight. I was not a judge, but I did watch it and I did score it. And this official calls me and says, "Duane, what'd you think of my score?" And I thought, and I had made notes on that fight. I don't recall what round I said, but I said on the third round, I kind of questioned how you scored that. And he told me, and I thought, well, maybe next time you might think of this. And so another round, and then in the end, he says, I totally disagree with you. And I said, look, you called me and asked me my opinion. Don't ever call me again. Goodbye. So it's okay for you to have confidence, but be humble enough to accept constructive criticism. The last fight I ever scored as an official, I probably worked harder than I did on any other fights. And I left the arena that day learning something new. So no matter how many fights you have, how many good fights, how many bad fights, have some humility about improving yourself. Next one. Consistency is a major concern, especially when everybody is not trained. That was a message that I didn't get to read all of it, but the point is being consistent and having the training. And these are the things that we want to talk about. Next.
May I touch a little bit on this, Duane?
Please.
That's such an important comment. When you have different jurisdictions appointing the officials, it's a problem. Because what we strive for is to get all our judges, all our referees to be on the same universe, on the same language, on the same training, on the same criteria. And it is like a language. We speak English, we speak French. So it's like going to an event and the three judges speak different languages. And that's their scoring reflects. So it is a key on officiating who is sitting down as a judge. Sometimes the WBC has no say. Sometimes we have all three officials appointed by the WBC, but that is a factor that has and will always be an issue in boxing. Who is sitting there officiating?
And as Mauricio says, a lot of the time, the local commissions assign somebody. And because they come with a questionable score, boxing gets criticized. I'm really happy that you're here today because I think this is an important subject. And a couple of you have sent messages in, and you have confidence, and you were trained. And today I want to address some of the things that will help you avoid being in that 42% and that 46%. Those are horrific percentages, in my opinion, and shouldn't be there. Let's see, Joel. He doesn't care about social media and so forth. Let's go. I think you can pull this down now, Gilbert. You can pull the PowerPoint off. So on the first 4 rounds, does anybody have an opinion as to how that could be such a horrible? I don't think 50% is good. If I'm a fighter and I see these 3 officials sitting outside the ring and I think I got a 50% chance, I don't know if those are good odds. Why do you think in the first 4 rounds there's 50% disagreement?
You get a lot of feel out rounds.
The fighters? You're telling me the fighters are feeling each other out?
Sometimes that's the case early in the fight.
Yeah, if you do me a favor, get rid of that thought. Because you don't care if they're feeling out anybody. If somebody lands a punch, he's winning. So I guess you as a judge You're only interested in the scoring criteria. And let's talk about scoring criteria. What's the first scoring criteria? Anybody?
Effective
What is
punching.
Say that? Effective. Thank you, Vincent. Punches. And Vincent, you said what type of punch? What is it?
Effective.
What do we mean by effect?
Lands in the scoring zone, has an impact on the fighter.
It's kind of like the weather. If it's going to snow, it's going to have an effect on the highway. They're going to be slick. Cars are going to slide off the road. Same thing with a punch. If a punch has an effect, it's going to cause that opponent to do something different than what he wants to. What's the difference between a stiff jab and a hard right hand? You can't answer, Vincent. You've had 2 shots. What's the difference between a strong left jab and a hard right hand?
Which one of the two were more effective? If that strong right hand, that strong jab was more effective than a partial, right hook. So
who said that?
Those?
Raise your hand, whoever said that.
I don't know how to. I've been trying to raise my hand.
Antonio, thank you.
I'll raise my hand in person.
You're exactly right. The difference between the 2 punches is what was the effect of the punch. I had the pleasure of doing Larry Holmes, and Mauricio sat ringside with Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes' jab was like getting hit with a telephone pole. So it doesn't matter whether it's a jab or a hard right, it's the effect. I heard some judges not long ago, just a couple of weeks ago, say, well, I had it for this guy because he was landing the harder punches. Well, maybe the harder punches didn't have any effect on the opponent. And effect does not take into effect, oh, he's bleeding. So in MMA, they use the term damage. That's really good in MMA. On our boxing side, yeah, he was cut, but did it affect him? Did he back away? Can't he throw any punches? So, any questions on effective punches? What's the next criteria on scoring criteria? Punches is the first thing you look for. What's the second?
Effective aggressiveness.
Effective aggression. Does the fighter always have to be going forward to be the aggressor?
No.
You mean he can be the aggressor going sideways?
100%.
Somebody's got their volume. Turn it down a little bit. You're getting feedback. I think it might be you, David. So a lot of people are stuck on the fact the fighter's moving forward, so he's the aggressor. I've seen fighters moving forward that getting the stuffings knocked out of them. If they can move forward and they're effective in their aggression, great. But a lot of times the aggressor could be the fighter moving sideways or backwards, a counterpuncher. He's waiting for that guy to throw a punch so he can step back in and boom, he's the aggressor. Every time the other fighter, Cox, is ready to throw a punch, boom, he reaches over and hits him. That's the aggressor. If you want to know who an aggressor is, you listen to your wife the next time you get home real late at night. Now that's an aggressor. And it doesn't matter which way they're moving. So, but I think we all understand. Don't get caught up in some of these terms that are coming out of some of the commissions who are MMA background executives stick to what we know, and that's boxing. The WBC has made it clear through the years as to the scoring criteria on fights. So aggressive, it's to move forward or backwards. It's quick to counterpunch. It's quick to be in a position to land a punch. What's the next one and the last one? Scoring criteria.
Ring control, ring generalship.
Who said that? Okay. Ring gentlemanship. You know, years and years ago, I was doing a class in North Carolina, and I think there was 48 people there in the room. And I went around the room and asked each one of them to define ring gentlemanship. And you know, I think I had 30 different definitions. Nobody knew what the heck ring gentlemanship is. You tell me what ring gentlemanship is. I thought it was the guy that had the best looking trunks and they were pressed, and boy, he's got some cool shoes and he looked like a real general in there. So years ago, the ABC broke it down and call it control. It's the fighter who has control. He controls the ring. He's the general. He makes his opponent go wherever he's wanting him to go. But one thing I want you to know, I've never, ever given a fighter a round because he was the best aggressor. Well, I'm sorry, had ring gentlemanship or control. What must you do in order to win a round? Of all the scoring criteria, what must you do? Say again?
Land punches.
Land punches. Where does defense fit in?
It does not
Steve?
score. You don't score defense.
Say again?
You don't score defense.
Defense falls into ring generalship control. Defense falls into that category. You're slipping punches, you're moving so that you can score.
Right.
I told this story 100 years in my seminars. I don't remember which NFL team it was, but they held this team, I think it was 100 yards, 108 yards minus rushing. And the team with that great defense lost the game 3-0. So if a fighter is not scoring punches, he's certainly not going to win. If he's doing the effective aggression, he's scoring punches. If he's moving in the ring and slipping punches and good defense, he's really doing a good job with controlling the ring. So the next area I want to touch on is some new things are coming out in the WBC. And the WBC office is working just overnight, and there's just a lot of effort going into this. But every official that does a fight is going to be evaluated. And if there's a questionable decision, or if you have a score that they might have a question on, I'm not saying bad. I'm not using the term bad. There may be a situation that Mexico City has a question. Then you will receive a letter. And that letter may sting a little bit because they're questioning your score. And then if I know the individual, if I'm familiar with the fight, then I would call that individual and talk to him. And those calls that I make usually turn out to be wonderful. You know, when I was the president of the NABF at the convention, I always took time to have a one-on-one with the officials that wanted to. And to me, those were the most moving moments I ever had as president. We would sit down, and the first thing I'd ask him is, tell me about your family. And we would just have conversations. And then I'd ask him, how do you think you are doing in boxing? And they would pour their heart out. You know, I'm working hard, but I don't get a chance. And so we work to get that individual a chance. And the majority of the people that get the chance are on this screen. And you're doing world title fights. But some of us, we get so many, we feel like all the assignments are owed to us, that I deserve this one. You know, I want to point out, and I hope you won't mind, but I want to point out David DeJong. I didn't know who David DeJong was any more than I had no clue who he was. But his name kept popping up on remote scoring. And at first, he was kind of all over the place. But we had communication, and he reached out, and he wanted to be good. And his scores started to trend in the good area. And to make a long story short, I had a one-on-one with David. And David said, I just want to be the best. And I said, David, it's not a contest. We're not playing against our fellow. And David really saw the light. He goes to work on every fight he's assigned to, and he works hard to be ready to concentrate, to have the right scores. And I think David was the first one to have under his belt 1,000 remote scoring fights. And David is now one of our best judges traveling. But that's how it started, was remote scoring. And it gives us a way to see you. So don't be panicked if you get a letter. It's just, hey, we want to talk to you. And just think of this. You saw the percentages in what I showed you today. The 42% in the 12th round. That's shocking. Shocking. Now, it could be this. Some judges out there are afraid to swim too far away from the shore. They don't want to get out there where the sharks are, so they stay close to the shore. In other words, they don't want to be the lone judge that's out there with a wide score. The most difficult fight I ever had to judge was a 15-round shutout. You turn your score in the 14th round or the 12th round, the 13th, the 15th, and you're saying, oh, I hope those other judges are seeing what I'm seeing. And there's elation when it come out to be everybody had the same score. But what David did is he learned the close, moderate, decisive, and extreme decisive. Everybody on this screen in Bangkok, Thailand, this last convention, we had you jump up and stand on your feet and shout. And I ask you now, what is close? What is a definition of a close round?
Narrow margin.
A narrow margin of victory. What is a moderate round? Let me hear you.
Clear margin.
Narrow.
Clear margin. What is a decisive?
Large margin.
Fight.
No question who won the fight.
Large margin.
Large margin.
And extreme decisive.
Total domination.
Total domination. No question. who
Total
won.
domination. Every one of you need to know this and why you need to know it. And let me tell you why. On the back of your scorecard, if your commission that you work in, if they don't use close, moderate, decisive, and I'm telling you that one day everybody is going to use it, I would put yourself a little C on the back of your scorecard, or an M, just small. Don't deface the front of it. But then when you're in the meeting after the fight and your commission wants to know, Dejan, why did you score the third round the way you did? You're going to say, well, I had it close. Well, what's close? What is close, David?
Just, oh my God, sorry, I got echo.
Your microphone's not working. Narrow margin of victory. I'm going to keep calling you until you get a new microphone, David. But you will educate your own commission if you stand up and describe how you did it. If you stand up and say, well, I had the hard punches. Well, so did the other guy. Use those terms of close, moderate, decisive. Learn. If you don't know what they are or you don't understand them, call me. But this is going to make you a more sophisticated judge. You can articulate your scores better. You can be proud of yourself. It'll give you self-confidence that you've never seen before. On these split rounds that we just talked about, like in Glendale, I would love to have seen on their scorecards when one gave it to fighter A, 10-9, was he close or was he moderate? Or where was he? The one that was even, I would love to find out how he was even. And then the other one, I would love to know where he was, the close, moderate, and decisive. Because if one judge had him out in the decisive and the other judge that went the other way had him in decisive, something's crazy with that mathematics. Start using the close, moderate, decisive in a better way. Make that part of your preparation. When I go to the fights now and I sit there and I'm judging it for fun, I just go, it's close. It's red trunks close, 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 still close. Oop, you went into the moderate. Oop, the blue trunks come back. It's close. It's close. And that's how I thought. I used to go, hey, 10-9 red, 10-9 red, 10-9 red. Tell me where close, moderate, decisive is, and then write your 10-9. It is not, you don't have to be a graduate from MIT or that fancy school that Mauricio went to in Boston. Right now, let's hear from you. What questions do you have on your mind? And any questions good and legal and fair.
Let me say something very quickly. I have seen, we all are human beings. We all know the industry. We all know who Canelo is, or who Inoue or Usyk. If you as a judge sit down in that chair before round one, and in your mind, for some reason, you are thinking that elite fighter has an edge and is going to win the fight or win the round, then that's a situation you have to work within yourself. You must never have prejudice. Whatever happens is what you are going to score. It doesn't matter who. You don't see a close round and just because he's a champion, you score it for him. You have to score exclusively what you see. Second, judges do not score fights. You score rounds. Every single round, when that bell rings, it's over. It's finished. You must clear your mind completely. You cannot carry on. If a fighter got hurt at the end of that round, you cannot carry on the next round and said he was hurt and then you pile up what happened. That's a big mistake that it's very easy to do. Because when you see a round end with a fighter that has been shaken or hurt, you carry on and you begin that next round that way. Don't do that. These are things that you have just to practice and to be aware, because most of these are without your even knowledge. They just carry on by nature. Those were two comments I wanted to make, and now we want to hear from all of you. Don't be shy.
Yes. Ed, did you have a question? Who's got a question?
Question, comment, or suggestion?
Here's what you're thinking of your question. Let me tell you about how the 10th, 11th, 12th rounds could creep in. And Mauricio reminded me of it. If you're in a close fight, you're judging a close fight, and Canelo is one of the fighters, and you're in the 11th and the 12th round, are you just going to score that round for Canelo? Let me tell you what, I took a beating on the Pacquiao-Bradley fight. I knew in the 11th round that I could go a certain way and there'd be no questions, there would be no controversy, there would be nothing. I could walk out of the arena with my lunch pail in my hand. But I couldn't, because the fighter that was supposed to win didn't win those rounds. I'm not sure which round it was, but I had the thought in the I knew that I could eliminate everything and not be criticized, but I couldn't do it. And therefore, one of the other judges had my identical score. But if you feel intimidated that you can't go against the guy who won the round, then I really think you shouldn't be judging. I question some of the most recent scores on the 11th and 12th rounds of some of the judges. I don't know whether they have their swimming suit on and they want to get back to shore or not, but some of them just don't make sense. Don't be one. Score what you saw. And if you don't know, put 10-10. If you don't know, if you lost your train of thought, put 10-10. Now, if you had a lot of 10-10 rounds on your scorecard, you might not be working. But what I'm saying, the greatest thing you have is your honor and your honesty. Early in my career, Sammy Macias, who has done such tremendous work in the early days for the WBC and was my mentor, he beat me to pieces because I gave a courtesy round to a fighter. He went the 10 rounds or the 12 rounds and didn't win anything, but I gave him a round. He beat me to pieces. In fact, he pinned me against the wall and he said, "Don't you cheat a fighter out of a round he won." That's as truthful as I could tell you. Let your honor and your heart connect and be an honest judge and never score a fight to get another assignment. Any questions?
I've got one comment in regards to training. Just took a training with David Sutherland this weekend too, which was good. You know those rounds? I don't know who came up with the meet where you show the meter in per round, correct?
Yes.
It might be a good idea also to show specific instances where there's hard punches versus effective punches, effective punches that don't look hard, and maybe triangulate or um, single them out, and then discuss those. It might only take a couple minutes, but then you're breaking the round down even more microscopic, and it might give some people some refreshers as to what to look for in certain punches, not necessarily the flow of the round, and evaluate how those go. Is that something we've done in the past?
That's a great idea, Tom, and I think you'd be the man to put in charge of that for our next seminar.
That's
Thanks,
why
Tom.
that's why nobody wants to speak. They will get work. No, but that's so
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
No, actually,
Tom, that's a good, I'm sorry, David, I know you're down there, but I can't see you now.
yeah, I just Tom attended the training in Kansas this weekend, and a lot of people, like I told you on the phone, a lot of people like the metered rounds, and I think we do probably need to come up with some additional rounds showing some different progresses through the round, and I think that helps everybody to kind of how to flow through the close, moderate, and decisive.
And we have some in my library that were intended on doing that. I just had a lazy streak.
I have a comment.
Tom.
I have a comment. I would like to know how you all feel about the seating arrangements for the judge. I have seen the Riyadh season rings, which they have a huge apron, and I see the judge sitting very far away from the ropes and with a ton of photographers on the sides. I would like to get your feelings about this matter, because I am worried about this.
Yeah,
David?
good point. Hello, Duane, Mauricio. Yeah, for me, I like to be as close to the ring as possible, just to be close to the action, and kind of when you're far away in photography, but that's just me personally. So
For myself, I when now that you start attending the same kind of promotional shows, you get to know the photographers and such, right? Sometimes. So when I get there, I let them know, hey, this is my area. Just don't come here, please. And it's a very polite conversation. Because some of them, the newer photographers, they'll get in front of you, they'll try to take pictures, right? But we have some old school photographers in there, and I'm not, it's just my arm's length. It's like, hey, from here to here, just this is my zone. So just stay out of here.
That's a good point, Antonio. Good point.
If we have tables, I'll separate the tables, like those picnic tables, or I don't know what they're called, and I'll get in between that. So I'll sit in between that to get closer. Obviously, when it's a larger show and it's a fixed stage, that's more difficult. Now, one thing that has happened in some of our shows, and they're the smaller produced shows, that fourth rope is not where it's supposed to be, and at times that can get difficult to see up and down. So you have to do a lot of level control, as I guess you could say.
Good points, Antonio. Good points.
David?
Am I?
Oh.
No, I thought Antonio hit that perfect. I mean, that bottom rope, sometimes when they do put the Velcro on there, it's raised a little bit high. You've got the apron now that's being extended out, and let's not forget the fact that they're putting advertisement as big as they can on the ropes and the padded ropes, and there's times where now we're looking through a 9-inch opening probably, and we probably don't necessarily have the best seat in the house, so it's difficult, but I like the fact, like Antonio said, he moves the tables, he does what he needs to, and then it goes back to just people need to get there early and see what you're dealing with so you can make adjustments if needed. And always check with the commission to see if they can help you. Thanks.
That said, if you're traveling and you're in a foreign country, or if you're in some other state, please don't go to the commission and criticize how the ring's set up or anything. Don't criticize the commission. But if you need help with your chair or with anything, then I think go to your supervisor, and the supervisor can deal with the commission.
Good point.
But now I understand, Sutherland and Antonio, why some of your scores have been so funny.
It's the training. It's your training.
I tell you, that's too good of a comeback.
Wayne, I find. Oh, I still.
Anything else? It's been fun today.
Do you have I'm sorry, David, that echo, maybe you have two links open.
Yeah, you have your computer open and probably an external mic.
Yes, that is why it's happening. Duane, I think this is a point of action we should take with the ABC and with commissions and with federations around the world. We must address the topic of the sitting of the judges, and the commission must be active, preventing those photographers from jumping up. I mean, I just saw it.
No,
in Las Vegas.
I agree.
Las Vegas, Detroit was crazy last week.
Does Detroit have a commission?
The state of Michigan.
Well,
tries to.
Do we have time?
We've taken a lot of your time this morning. I appreciate it. That's good to be able to visit with you. And if anybody has any questions you think after, shoot me an email.
I think Tyler Bopel would like to say something.
Myself, please.
Thank you, Mauricio. I just wondered, does anybody have a specific example of a round that should be scored as extremely decisive, 10-8 without a knockdown?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, we do. I will work with Xochitl, and I'll get with Duane and his team to find a few rounds, and we'll send them.
Oh, we could put them up on next one. We have them ready, and they're with a meter.
Awesome.
So
Thank you, guys.
What I
Yeah,
want
good
to do
idea.
Before finishing here, I just want to invite everybody to the WBC University. There you can find all the content that Duane and all the ring officials committee has developed, the new guides. We are upgrading everything all the time. So in that platform, you can find so many examples, and we are working every week, every month to upgrade that content. Just if you feel like at any time, any day, you can go into the platform. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to finish this masterclass by thanking, of course, Duane and his ring officials team, which is very efficient. We work in conjunction. Our office in Mexico, as Duane said, we are looking at every single fight, WBC affiliated title. And we want to continue growing the platform of evaluation and grading the performance of the judges and the referees for continuous improvement process. I am very thankful to Xochitl and Christian for their passion that they put into the WBC talks. And most importantly, thank you all for taking time from your family, from your work, from your day, and give us this hour of together trying to improve in our world of boxing. And we are going through troubled times in the world. What is happening in the Middle East has everyone concerned. Every time I just open my phone, I see bombings. It is like a horror movie. You could never thought that Dubai, with those buildings or any situation just happening, try to remain positive. Try not to look at the news. If you feel anxious, turn it off. Talk to your wife, talk to your friend. Stay positive, because there's nothing us as individuals can do. It's going on. Let's just pray for peace soon. And let's continue to make our boxing world our escape route every single day. We deeply appreciate each one of you. We're a beautiful family. Let's get together as much as possible through the WBC talks or in conventions, in meetings, in fights, and just keep working and making our life as best as we can through boxing. Thank you so very
Stay
much.
safe.
All
Stay
right,
well.
Mauricio.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank
See you
you.
later.
God bless. June Bai Lim.
Hi.
I saw him just
Thank
come
you,
on.
everybody.
Now your time is 3 o'clock a.m. Very deep night.
Go to sleep.
Go back, have some
Goodbye, all.
chocolate and warm milk and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Be
Have a
safe.
good day.
Okay, see you.
Everyone.
All right. See you
Take care,
later.
everybody.
Keep learning.
See you.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Adiós.
Adiós, tío. Lo quiero mucho.
Todos.